up the board here as we're seeing the rotation from Stormy, Toos, and Kirachi. Really clean, really easy. Not a lot of HP expended. No tags going their way. What a nice, I want to say unbelievable a little bit, but they did get tagged there. But what a great rotation there from Toos.
And so you can definitely see a pep in their step. That feed is available to all players inside too. They know the first place team is down. The top 10 now has a chance. We're talking about, you know, how do you catch up to 160 points? How do you catch up to a phenomenal lead? Going down early before placement gets handed out. They went down at 21st, 22nd place. This is a lot of points for the top 10 to accrue.
If Resguard and Dreader and Savage get into the finals here, they need to figure out what they need to do about the rotations, because right now, so far, there has been holes. We already mentioned it before. They've been a duo going into their mid-game here, and so far, that may cost them a top 3 finish. The Stormy does pick up an Elam in the feed.
Teak steady, no Cammy. This is trouble. Cammy has been the one who's been phenomenal today in terms of damage, in terms of knocking down Elams while getting clapped back. Savage goes down with 169 points in total, so they didn't really have that many Elams there at all. That is a number to beat to take over first place at the moment. Up top on height, in zone, is Esitum and Blaze. So what looks like a duel situation. They could just be placeholders right now, not allowing any other team to get points. Cherokee is down, Queasy and Tulix, 150 points. They're 19 away from the first place threshold. They are in the top 3 starting off this game with the 2 Elams that have many boosts, but yeah, this is so much trouble.
Keep an eye on Michael's trio. They are lighting up the feed, and in the last game in round 3, they popped off with 19 Elams and the Victory Royale. Right now, they're not looking good in HP, but they have that pop-off potential. Trulix on the top right of your screen is very in danger, because even though they pulled, so many trios are going to be going their way, and they're very limited in the amount of mats here. Teak on the bottom here with Seti here, down to some, they're looking good in the mats here, but they have to be careful. They're considering that they're sitting in soft mats.
It's a 2-man game for them. If you're tuning in right now, the first place team is down. Top 3 is what you need to qualify for finals.
Oh no,
and there's 10 teams up for contention. Make that almost 9, as Teak was one of them and goes down. Trulix with Queasy by himself is at a speed bump as well. This is another team. If you see anyone with triple-digit points, they're the ones to watch who have potential to make it to the FNCS finals. This is the last game of Europe 2. Savage gone. 169 is going to be the points to beat. Kirachi, Toos, and Stormy have high ground.
Look like Trulix, he's not going down without a fight here on the top right of your screen. Only down to 1 build, out of builds now with only green weapons. He's going to try to find a big critical pump. Seti on the bottom right here is at the same time. He has a lot of mats here, so he's going to use all that he can to survive. Look at these tarps here from Seti. Unbelievable, but the Storm Surge hits him really hard.
He has a timer on his head, not only to build and survive, but deal damage as well. 10 points behind, third place 2. He has to be able to survive and catch up. Kiriachi's on high ground. He was 4th coming into this game. He needs a phenomenal performance. Seti is going all in. He's looking for the next spot. Does he even have
Trulix is out?
Not sure. He's trying to build out. It's 3 different people trying to focus him. Trulix goes down. This is where Seti needs to make up the points. He needs to catch up, but he gets pulled down, and a double peak ends his story, ends his game for now. I don't think we'll be seeing him here in the finals.
What we may be seeing is Toos, Kirachi, and Stormy with height and an opportunity to get into the top 3. This is it. 163 points, no doubt, most likely overtook first place. We have all on highs. High is very high. Look at it. Hellfire right now on the front side of the zone is coming down to the final moments. We have Tripper here. He's just there just to get as many series points as possible. But the story is Toos, Kirachi, and Stormy here. Stormy going very aggressive here with 4 floppers, but look, out of mats. Height has expended so much to try to secure this Victory Royale.
They're going for first place. He's just trying for the points at 169, going for shots. Flois is also trying to qualify here at the same time. It's 2 trios with different stories. I think Flois might need the win here too. He's looking for shots. Takes 77 damage on the tag on the backside. Stormy's trying to move up, but has no mats. He has to break in. He has the heals too. Needs to find his way back to his team. He's the insurance plan, and he's at risk. They're on low ground now. Did Flois just take height? This is a 3v3, I think, for qual for Flois's team. For Stormy, it's for first place. They're having trouble getting up. They're inside the zone. Flois has the zone. Hellfire's there with Kaiser. Looking at Stormy right now. 2 floppers. Has to be forced to use them here at the very early portion of this end game, this 9th zone. There's still a minute left to tick down. 29 shots for the shotgun too. He has all the ammo he needs to make sure this big fight goes down, but Kaiser takes off Stormy's shield. Kaiser has the high ground. Kaiser gets pulled down, but gets a pump. Big shots to Kiriachi as they take out the trio. 166 points, Sancho. I think that's a qualifying run.
Are you kidding me? Another qualifying week ends up with Game 6 clutch and a possible win into the finals? It can't be, Shio. It can't be. Flawless with another unbelievable run and the Victory Royale to close out Game 6.
169 points for Savage, 166 going there for Kaiser in total. And at the end, we saw 160 thresholds for Stormy Right as well. 3 teams that we're talking about, 2 of them there alive at the final moments of EU. And I think we just witnessed absolute greatness, the best clutches back-to-back possible that I honestly think I've ever seen.
All I know is this format is just creating so much high intensity, exciting moments right then and there. Highlights are super high, but wow, what a great finish in today's games.
And thank you guys so much for watching. It's been Shio Wager and Sancho West. Pleasure to cast up what was one of the most closest qualifiers in EU. We have to throw it back over to Zeke, Levin, and Reese to really tell us how much that clutch meant.
You can't make this stuff up. There's just no way. We're coming into this last game. You've got your top 5 again going into this game saying, look, if any of us even makes a misplay, we're gonna drop. This is what Reese was talking about coming into this game, and it just comes down to the wire. Flawless's trio, first off, y'all coming in clutch again. They dropped the 17 bomb 2 days ago, or 2 games ago rather. They come back for Game 6. They pick up the Victory Royale. The standings will tell us the ultimate picture, but gentlemen, what an incredible set of games we've had today.
I mean, what a run, right? Going into that last game, as we mentioned, Rescard and Dresscram, first place. Floki Clement second, we're in second. And then we also have Queasy, Trulex, and Juriki in third at that point. Huge disruptions there, because one of the things we mentioned before that match was the fact that Kiriachi needed to pop off, where we saw him pop off. He picked up a Victory Royale, and then also ended up coming second that game. The leaderboard's got to be shaken up, and I don't know who's in first right now either.
Yeah, you know, it's a thing of dreams. Like you said, so you literally can't write this stuff, even if you wanted to. Like, you know, coming into the final game to go, this is genuinely what players, you know, sort of envision in their minds when they're cranking and creative, thinking, you know, I want to do this in a tournament. This is, you know, this is what it is. And to see them sort of clutch up the way they have is insane. I really want to see who came out on top of the whole day. But like we said earlier, right, it's definitely going to be a big switch up from what we saw last game.
Hey, well, Levin, you'll have your wish. We can take a look at the overall winners coming in the number 1 spot today in qualifier number 2. It is Kiriachi, it is Stormy, it is Toos coming in the final moments of that game, clutching up the 173 points. This guy is looking around, is also impressed. Gentlemen, I'm just blown away. I can't even properly express the level of excitement I have right now.
Look, I'm impressed. Clearly, Cluck's impressed as well right now. But those last 2 games were huge, right? These guys were in 7th going into this. Victory Royale coming into that second last game in the 5th one, and then a second again in that very last game, which we just watched as well. And what a clutch run. Like, we were talking, right? We're saying these guys will need to do something big before game 5, and something big they have done. Almost couldn't be bigger from their placements as well.
Yeah, a massive, massive way to end the day. And I think for these guys, they should be really proud of the way they perform, right? If you look at all of these guys, they're all storied players without the competitive scene in EU, you know. The likes of Kiri, actually someone who had large amounts of success in the past. And of course, you know, in recent times, wasn't able to match that level. Now, getting a chance to play in the finals again, this is going to be his chance to sort of prove himself that he is still at that top level, especially now with pump shotguns being a thing in the game. So really, really happy to see these guys do well.
We got to take a look at the stats of this trio, man. It's just absolutely insane. Let's take a deep dive in with this spotlight. I mean, yeah, I just love this sentiment, you know, for this trio to feel this high, right? To be able to come out and say, look, we clutched it up in those final moments. We have what it takes. We're going to finals, boys. Now, granted, don't forget, we're not going to see this trio until finals. So they have a lot to think about and a lot of refining to do if they hope to come out FNCS champions. But still, Reese, a Victory Royale, 9 eliminations coming out of Toos, 42 points out of a single game, and top 5 games of 3. I mean, you gotta be impressed, man.
I mean, 3 top 5s is probably their biggest and most impressive statistic here, right? Top 42 points a game is also massive. That was their big Victory Royale that they got, right? With the 6 eliminations at that point. But one thing that might stand out is, people might look at this and go, Toos only got 9 eliminations, right? It doesn't seem like this massive statistic, but that's the 5th most out of all 99 players here. And yes, they're in first place. But what's important really about this is the fact that people know this team as a fragging team, right? Especially Kiriachi going a long, long way back, all the way to Chapter 2, Season 2 in Duos, where he was known as one of the most incredibly aggressive fighters. But they've actually got some of the lower average eliminations as a team, right? They have 4 total, which if you go down to Rescard and Scram, they had like 5.6. And Flows' team, obviously, they had 7.5. So for a team who is typically known as this aggressive fighting team who's going to be able to really keep out of their way, they've actually managed to play an incredibly consistent placement game. And that bottom says top 5 games, 3. There was 2 games where they came 6th. So the placements that these guys have had is actually nothing short of incredible.
Yeah, I was literally going to highlight that, Reese. The fact that the top 5 games is just 3, it doesn't even do them enough credit, because it's like they literally had those 2 other games where they were in just the top 6. So the majority of the games that they had today were just phenomenal. They've been in scintillating form today. And I think, the one takeaway is that, like we said, they're a team who historically you do associate with these guys as being really aggressive, higher limbs, and they've shown today that, that's not a limiting factor for their game, right? They can still be successful even without necessarily having to have the most limbs of anyone in the lobby. So really, really impressive stuff from these guys.
And just kind of like a final quick note on this. I mean, this trio came in a halfway point after game number 3. They were 6th place with 64 points. And after game 6 to say, look, we are the overall winners. Halfway through the competition, we were in 6th. We had a mountain to climb. We not only climbed the mountain, we got on the battle bus and went into another whole realm of possibilities here. I mean, this is a trio we absolutely have to keep eyes on going into finals. But I want to take a look at the final standings. I want to see which of these other 2 teams place within that top 3, which of other teams place 4th through 5th, right? These series points are still so crucial, but you've got Rescard, you've got Andretta, and we've got Mr. Savage there in 2nd place. Right behind them, Flois, Kaiser, Hellfire. I mean, another trio, boys, that showed up dropping a 17 bomb, the highest we've seen in EU on the day. I mean, wow, what a crazy. This has only been 6 games, bro. It's not even finals. It's not even reboot round.
Look, this is why the top 3 qualifying format to finals is so good. But I got to give hype. I got to give props to Rescard, Andrea, and Scram here. I said Scram and Savage. There's too many old teams that are coming into my brain at this point. And Savage. 2nd place with 14 eliminations in their 5th game. Absolutely incredible. They didn't manage to pick up the victory royale. That was against Kiriachi's team, but that pushed them up so far into that kind of qualification slot right now. And remember, their last game, the one we just watched, 23rd place, right, with 1 single elimination. They started to go down reasonably early before zones even started moving. So this was looking like a tough game, but they had done enough in that 5th game, and obviously their previous games in that, to solidify themselves in the 2nd. And again, when we're talking about high elimination games, we can't not talk about Flois, Kaiser, and Hellfire as well. How many times have we mentioned that they've had 17 eliminations? It's been a lot, but that is an absolutely incredible game, because they didn't even win either. So there was still potential for these guys to get more eliminations that game. And not only that, their first game, they had 10 eliminations, and the last one that we just watched, they had 12. So these guys were just consistently able to pick up a huge amount of eliminations throughout, and very, very well played to them. Congratulations on all 3 of these teams for qualifying.
Yeah, and to see Flois, Kaiser, and Hellfire sort of come in and secure that final spot. Look, Kaiser's someone that, he can sort of get memed, right? He's one of the older players still competing, right? Kaiser's doing it for the boomers, let's say. Like, he's honestly, out here, and to be a part of a team that is getting so many limbs, right? Like, you wouldn't associate their play style and think, oh, these guys are going to be the kind of guys to get loads of limbs. No, they've come in here in one of the most competitive lobbies you will find in all of competitive Fortnite, and they've just sort of rolled through it, right? And props to them for that. For the players who didn't necessarily make it into that top 3, the likes of Floki, the likes of Queasy, who were incredibly impressive. Seti as well, just there in 6th. These guys were incredible today. And I genuinely don't say that, and to sort of pamper them in any way, but they were incredible. Series points is going to be really, really good for them. They're going to get a lot of series points, and hopefully we can sort of see them move forward into next week and maybe get a top 3, because, with Rescard and Mr. Savage, they were a team last week who they failed to get top 3, even though many people predicted them to, and now they've come through and they've claimed that top 3 spot. So super impressive stuff from everyone here. What a day of Fortnite. I'm just lost for words.
Yeah, I mean, it was truly top tier. Queasy, Trilex, and Jerky as well. you know, a team I definitely want to highlight for performing extremely well in that first game, right? We saw these guys take height so early on, and we talked about it in that package kind of after that game on how these guys are just managing to get it so high so early, right, in that fifth zone, keep pressuring down below. And these guys had such a good day overall, right? A first and a fourth. They also won another game after that, but it was just those last 2 games where they were not able to capitalize. I'm not sure what went wrong for them, but that first few games and 4 overall, particularly picking up 2 victory royales on the day, more than any other team, huge prop to these guys. I definitely see these guys making it through to the finals.
Yeah, and the teams that sort of came away with the victory royales in the first 2 games are teams who have very identifiable, philosophies and styles in which they play the game. Right? Of course, Crazy Trulix in that, with a high ground style, Teak, Seti, and Cammy, opting to play mid gun, low gun, and they do it so proficiently. And you see here, they're ready for the heal off. They understand that, hey, look, not only could there be Kree in the lobby, but there are going to be other people in the end game who are looking to make our time difficult. And you saw in this second game here, they won with the heal off. And even though they only picked up this victory royale, they were so consistent in so many of the end games. You saw them over and over again over the course of the day. And so, rightfully so, they deserve to be up there in the standings.
Yeah, and CRR, Aqua, and Frey, a team who we saw kind of pop off in one game. The middling, it looks like they were catching up. They had this victory royale in game 3 here where, CRR was really popping off. He ended up winning just with the floppers, and it kind of seemed like this could have actually gone to the other team here because it seemed like this one big pump trial came down to. But, they had this massive game, which was really great for them against Floki there. That was who it was against. But it just, unfortunately, wasn't enough, right? They had too many games where they're just eliminated early.
Yeah, and look, it's incredibly difficult. It's incredibly difficult because, Floki's looking at that, right? And I'm pretty sure Floki picked up that win there and eliminated CR. I think they qual, right? Because the 2 points for elimination
if they had,
and the 2 extra points for placement, that was the difference between qualifying and not qualifying for Floki's trio today. So, that's heartbreaking. As much as they've been successful, that is going to be heartbreaking, but you just sort of got to roll with the punches and come back next week stronger. I think they've imposed themselves in a team that's imposed themselves again. Another victory royale for Juriki, Kreezy, and Trulix there. Look, it then started to get intense. It's then started to get crazy where you have the reaction to Stormy. They came through and this victory royale was just sort of the beginning of what was going to be a beautiful ending for them. They win this game. They go on to do well in the last game and win on the day. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, and like you said, this is the turning point, right? Look, we love the first 4 games. Don't get me wrong. Those are amazing games. But the last 2 games, when the leaderboards are starting to get set and things like this happen, where you see the comebacks from Kiriachi, Toos, and Stormy, for example, this is where things get intense. It is. It's exactly what it's all about. And, this last game we just watched going in where Kaiser managed to pick up the victory royale, qualify them through. Again, only 4 points over Floki's team, so this victory royale was absolutely essential, 100% essential to win it. So going down, I can't understand what these guys must be going through at this moment. Can you imagine the comms in this team? I hope they have recorded this. I really hope. If they have not made a YouTube video out of this, they are throwing. Like, this is just one of the most hype moments that they'll ever get, trying to qualify through in that final game. Like, look at the mess on low ground. Their hearts must have been racing, their hands sweat. It must have been such a good feeling to pick up that victory royale going into the final game.
Electrifying stuff, man. Just like you said, just those final moments, the feeling of just sort of screaming with your teammates, the excitement, the joy. There's nothing better than that, man. It's honestly what Fortnite is all about, and I'm really looking forward to hopefully seeing that somewhere on YouTube. But seeing them in the finals is going to be even better.
Guys, we have another week of qualifier. We have semifinals. We have a reboot round. Then we get to finals. There's so much talent here in EU, and that's why we're seeing these incredible games. But that is it for qualifier number 2 as far as Europe is concerned. The 6 games here are done. That means the next time you'll see us is next weekend for qualifier number 3. Now, as always, please make sure, give these guys a follow. Give Sancho West and Shireweed a follow. These guys are all so incredible. Bring the hype. And for you guys at home, if you want more Fortnite action, we're going over to NA East. We got another 6 games there. Then we're going to NA West for 6 more. So make sure you come back for more Fortnite action. And as always, guys, we love you, and we'll see you on the Battle Bus.
Beep, beep.